Welcome back, Dolphins. Welcome back, Dolphins. This is going to be the second to last mock draft. And I think this one's going to surprise a lot of people. But again, I want to try and make it so that every single draft is a little bit different. And this one's going to be the most different. And the reason behind it is because I wanted to incorporate trading TYREEK Hill, like what you would need to do or what would need to happen to trade TYREEK Hill. And when you get into this draft, you're going to see that there's a certain option that we have here. I know everybody's saying don't trade TYREEK Hill, but there's a certain option, there's a certain thing that could happen that would make that happen. You know, at the end of the day, everybody's tradable. You know, at the end of the day, this happens everywhere. But the way that we're going to set this up, I'm not going to do the trade for draft picks, but what we're going to do is we're going to hypothetically have a scenario occur that would then allow us to trade TYREEK Hill for an offensive lineman, so that we're not drafting one of these offensive linemen in, you know, this draft because, well, we are, but we're not going to expect them to be starter material right away. You don't need to get that, because what we're going to do is we're going to trade TYREEK Hill for a guard. We're going to trade him for a high-tier young guard, and then just let this draft play out, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we do it. All right, let's get this second to final mock draft going. So, first round, we're going to see what we want to do right now. This is where we're at. Wow. Okay, so Tetsuo McMillan is on the board. Here's what I'm asking you. We're going to have a pretty crazy draft right now. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be, second to final. I'm going to do something crazy. Tetsuo McMillan is on the board right now. TYREEK Hill is becoming a huge nuisance in the locker room. Here's what I say, and people are going to go crazy. You draft him, and in the second round, you trade TYREEK Hill. So now, we're going to be at pick 65. And I'm telling you right now, with this draft, you could either trade him for a pick, which you're probably not going to get much, or let's see what we got. 70, 60, 65. We're at 48. So at this point, here's what I'm doing. You got Princely Uman. Yeah, you know what I'm saying here. You got Demetrius Knight. You got JT Tumalau, Schwessinger. Let's see. Here's what I'm saying. At this point, you don't really want to trade with any of these guys because this is a pick way downtown. Maxwell Hairston. Yeah, I'm not too big on him. I haven't heard too much about him either, so I'm not going that way. Interesting. Well, you have to take an offensive lineman. We need a guard. So maybe you do trade down. But that would be out of the second round, dude. Sheesh. Well, this is a tough one because you need an offensive lineman. But it's interesting. It's weird that they want to give me third rounders for my second round. So with this play on the board, you're not drafting for need. So here's what I'm going to say. I think you either got to go him. We don't want shades of Cam Smith. This is a freaking tough one. Oh my goodness. This is rough. Jack Sawyer's there. Do you reach though? We're at pick... Oh yeah, pick 48. I mean, maybe you reach. Yeah, I mean, I need a player that's going to play right away. This sucks. This draft is terrible. I mean, I guess I'm picking best player off the board. I feel like you have to at this point. This sucks. Man, you pick up Arroyo? I don't know. Man, I think you just got to reach on somebody. I mean, oh my gosh, this is a terrible, this draft sucks. This is tough. I don't know who to pick here, dude. All these guys suck. I don't like any of these guys, so yeah, I think this is what we're going to do. Just load up on picks. Yeah, I don't like any of those guys. And I to load up on more picks, I think, is the possibility. I don't want to do a pick in the next year because it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, we're here right now. I mean, there we go. So, at this pick, I'm picking up Omar Norman Lott. You get your defensive end, and then we come back. I always pick Makuba, but... Fannin is there too. Yeah, so I'm picking up Makuba, getting your safety, and then I'm picking up the best overall guy in this draft. Here we go. Boom. I'm picking up Harold Fannin. You have another pick on the clock, and in round 4, I think you go. So this is where I think you pick up your offensive lineman. I honestly think that this is Because what I'm thinking here is with getting Tetro McMillan, you're trading TYREEK for an offensive lineman. So you get a solidified offensive lineman so that these guys don't have to come in and start. So essentially you're using Tyreek Hill as the offensive lineman draft pick, and you're kind of restarting your franchise. So Jack Kaiser's over here, and you're getting a bunch of picks, because honestly in this draft, it's kind of rough. Like it's like the first round has a bunch of decent players, 1 through like 20, and then the rest of the draft is like, you know what I'm saying? So I think at this point, maybe you look into a corner. Mello Dotson is someone that you can possibly look at. But again, I think second round of free agency, you're probably going to pick that up. Jalen Rivers is here. I mean, this draft is just, the thing is about this draft is it's just rough. It's a rough draft. This doesn't have a lot of great players. I'm thinking Ashton Jalad. You need a defensive end. Yeah, I think you get your edge guy. You get another defensive end. We have our second pick in the 4th round. This is why I kind of think that this is, that the way that you need to go. If Tetro is right there. This is a tough pick. Because what do you do here? Do you go Zy Alexander? Actually, I kind of do like Zy Alexander. I think you take maybe a corner in the 4th round right now. Zy Alexander is going to be the guy, the prototypical dude that you can groom along with Cam Smith. I'm not sure what happened to Cam Smith and why he's not, doing what he needs to do. Interesting. This is interesting. And it's not because I'm a U fan. It's, and I think this is where, if you trade back like that, you get a bunch of picks. You can load up your team with all the players that you need. Now, do I say that they're good players? I think they can be good. But, it's a tough draft. You're going to need to find the gems in this draft because it is a tough draft. What do we do with this? Oh, man, this draft is rough. It's a rough draft. Let's see. I would go right here. I mean, it's not because I'm a U fan, because we got everything we needed so far. We need a guard, we need a tackle. We got all of those. I think probably load up on that defensive line. And then you come back. Connor Colby. Because you got mostly edge rushers and defensive linemen and corners and receivers. You don't need any of those. So, no, we don't even have any picks. All right, so maybe here you reach. Because Connor Colby's there, and I think Connor Colby is another one. But he also kind of reminds me of like Liam Eichenberg a little bit. Tyler Cooper is the guy that I kind of like. But again, you need someone that's going to play. And, it's like Nick Nash is there. Kyle Williams is there. Kobe Hudson is there. But what do you need right now? Let's see who we've picked up so far. So you got a receiver, Omar Norman-Lott, Makuba. I forgot we got Harold Finn, and that would be ridiculous. I mean, this draft it would be wild. Anthony Belton is somebody that could start. Ashton Jalad is a good pass rusher. Zy Alexander, Simeon Barrow. And we still got like 6 picks left. I mean, maybe you go Mitchell Evans. What do we got here? What do we got? 6'1", 200. This is where I think maybe you take another running back. But Kyle Williams is there. I don't have any prospect. See, because you want to get someone that's going to play. And Upton Scout, somebody that could possibly get in there. He's another high potential player. I think you take best player available, and I think Trevor Etienne is definitely the best player available in this. So I think you got to get Trevor Etienne, best player available. You want to pick for need. And now you're just picking whoever's someone that has potential. You know what I'm saying? Sam Brown is somebody, I mean, I didn't even like Sam Brown at the University of Miami. I didn't think he really did much. Timothy McKay is there. At this point, you're just taking someone that you think can possibly be a gem in the rough. Brady Cook is there. With Zach Wilson, I don't think you need that. Max Brosmer. Don't think you need that. Like I said, this draft is very top heavy. And it's like, it is what it is. Now, with Sam Brown, you could possibly get like a kick returner. Will Shepard, the other guy that wasn't Travis Hunter. Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking quarterback. I don't think you need that. You pay too much money for Zach Wilson. Jalen Smith. I think, yeah, Go draft yourself another corner. We got a bunch of picks right now, so we're just going to load up on players. Get another safety. RJ Mickens. Decent safety. What is he at? Like 6 foot, 210. Got decent build. No, these are developmental players. So get another safety. We got here. I honestly think, again, best pick available. He's all right, but you get a big dude. I think he's one of those guys, 233, 6'2". I think it's someone that Mike McDaniel would like. You already picked a running back, so that's why it's tough to pick that. Who would pick here? I mean, this draft is tough. It's a tough draft. Highest potential. I think you pick Holland Pierce. He's someone that possibly you could mold into something. And then you're kind of just finishing it out. You want a blocking tight end. How many more picks do we have? We got one more. Final pick. This draft is trash. It's trash. It's a horrible draft. Yeah, Walker's probably my pick. You get your linebacker. And then boom. Let's check this out. So here we go. TYREEK McMillan in the first round. And I think what's happening there immediately after this draft is we're looking for a guard that someone would like to trade for Tyreek Hill. You're getting some sort of offensive lineman for Tyreek Hill. And you're going to trade him off, exchange the contracts. I would even say maybe even possibly Trey Smith, the Chiefs guy, and just trade him back to the Chiefs so that they can have Tyreek Hill back again and we get a top tier offensive lineman, I don't know, who would be maybe like the Bears. Maybe they go for somebody. Do you get TYREEK McMillan? You get your big wide receiver. And you kind of change this up where now it's like TYREEK and Waddle are the guys, two young guys. One's speed, one's big, strong. I think this would be an incredible. If TYREEK McMillan is there, I don't think you can pass on him. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that you can do it. And then in the second round, it's like there's nobody really that's worth that second round pick. And then you're going to wait all the way till the middle of the third round. And honestly, most of those players, third round picks, like typical drafts, most of these players in the second round would be like third-ish round picks. And there's nobody there that you really kind of go crazy over. Like Demetrius Knight is there, but you sign Terrell Dodson. You don't really want to use a pick on another linebacker that is like okay. So I say you trade him and literally get all sorts of picks. And then get into that third round where you have some players you want. Omar Norman Lott, you get your big defensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? Then you go Makuba a little bit after that. And then Harold Fannin. They say a C, but Harold Fannin is one of the dark horses of this draft. I know it says C right here. I don't understand why they have him at a C in the third round. Harold Fannin played good against like Alabama and another SEC team. He's one of those guys that could turn into like a Vernon Davis or something like that. He could turn into one of those guys, if you mold him right. And especially learning under Jonnu Smith, he could literally turn into another Jonnu Smith. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, he's a little bit faster than him. Harold Fannin, I think, would be an incredible pickup in the third round, right after you picked up Nakuba. And then you get Anthony Belton, who quite possibly could compete for a starting role this year. If not, you groom him and develop him. You're getting him in the fourth round. He's a big dude, big offensive lineman, that could definitely take up space and do what you need him to do. And it's just the best available pick. Then you get Ashton Gillott, who's going to be a nice, finessey pass rusher. Still needs some work and getting different moves down when it comes to, power rushing, getting off of blocks. I get that. But in the fourth round, you get a pass rusher that could possibly be kind of like Chop, where you just develop him and Anthony Weaver allows him to be what he needs to be. Zy Alexander in the fourth round, where you get a guy that could possibly be your number 2 corner right now, depending on what you do, and also in free agency. The reason I didn't go corner too high is because most likely there's like Tre'Davious White, there's a couple of corners that are still out there that are, older veteran corners that can just, kind of do the same thing that Xavier Howard did a couple years ago, where he was just that number 2 guy, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel like the Dolphins are going to be doing. They're just going to get one of those older veteran guys to just put on that number 2 spot. Round 5, you get Simeon Barrow Jr. from the University of Miami. University of Miami fan, I had to pick up at least one U player. But this dude has definitely got a extremely high potential. I think he has one of the highest potential players in that part, just based on the fact that you see his skill sets, you see all those things, and the coaching in the University of Miami for defense was atrocious last year. So any sort of good coaching is probably going to make this guy a stud. Trevor Etienne, I know it says C+, probably because they don't want me taking a running back, but I think at that point, you want to take, at least the best possible player available. And Trevor Etienne at that point, when you watch his tape, he's a very shifty, very much so just like his brother, very shifty guy. And I think you're going to get, another weapon that Mike McDaniel would love to use. Jalen Smith, you get another corner that has a extremely high potential, could possibly, compete for that role. And then you're just loading up on these corners. You get RJ Mickens, who's another solid safety that could definitely compete this coming year. Holland Pierce, 7th round, a guy that could definitely possibly have the potential to do something. Maliki Matabo, I just like him. He'd be a blocking tight end. So when you have that run set, you can have an extra guy. He'd be in certain run game sets and stuff like that, where he would just block for you. And then Jalen Walker, you get your linebacker, because again, I don't think you're going to go high with linebacker, because then you wouldn't have signed Terrell Dotson. I think he's going to fit the role. You have so many other things that you need to take, and I'm telling you, I like this, and I think this changes our team. You get a bunch of young players that can switch the whole entire dynamic of this team. You trade TYREEK Hill for a good younger offensive lineman, and you have a big guy that takes the role now. Somebody that's kind of like Mike Evans, that Tua can throw the ball up to, that can get help. I'm telling you, I think that this draft, and the overall grade, I finally got an A on a draft. So, as you can see, Tetairoa McMillan falls to you in the first round. You have the option of trading TYREEK Hill now because you're getting a number 1 wide receiver. I understand that some people say that this offense moves through TYREEK Hill. TYREEK Hill's fast, but if it did, then why did we stall out last year? I understand TYREEK Hill was hurt, but again, people started to understand how this works with TYREEK Hill, where they just go over the top, don't allow him to beat them deep, and make them keep doing short passes. That's kind of what they did for us. So what we're doing here, TYREEK Hill is TYREEK Hill. You're going to trade for a guard for TYREEK Hill. You're going to draft Tetairoa McMillan. So then you have 2 stud wide receivers in Waddle and Tetairoa. You have a different dynamic, and you get yourself a guard, fill that role, have a young guy come in and, basically be like the Mike Evans of this team, where you have a dude that you can just throw the ball up to now. And again, I keep telling everybody this. People don't believe it, but the energy that it brings to the locker room, I understand he has a lot of work ethic, but also the antics get to you as a player, because he's the attention sucker of the team. He wants the attention all on him, and that does something to Waddle, because Waddle's he's not a talker. Like he's very introverted. So if you get TYREEK Hill off the team, I'm telling you right now, Waddle is going to shine. I think Waddle will then play much better because he doesn't have all the nonsense going on. And then you have another young guy that comes in that can definitely build a different dynamic to the team, where it's not a circus. You can then formulate a different style of team. And that's what we do here. You get Harold Fannin, you get Tetairoa McMillan, and you start developing a different style of team. You can then implement that hard nose, that Mike McDaniel wants to do. Because the one problem for doing this hard nose, tough guy thing is TYREEK Hill, because he undermines you every single time. So you get rid of him, you get a young guy that is big, tall, fast, and you change the dynamic of this team. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm out of breath because I was doing push-ups. As always, guys, fins up, baby. Like and subscribe if you like this video. Fins up, baby. Peace.